Okay, TJ.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the shop Jeep, is how we sort of refer to it, but it's really TJ's Jeep.
Yep.
And so let's do a little bit of background on sort of how you end up with this Jeep and what we're looking at today. So let me ask you the first question.
Sure.
Why a JK?
Price point.
Okay.
Availability. There's a ton of them. You can find, if you look hard enough, a bunch of affordable, low mileage JKs out there in the market.
I mean, this was basically a grandpa grocery getter.
Yeah, Grandpa sold it to me at a really good price at 30,000 miles, bone stock. Never drove more than 10 miles from his property, out in the middle of Nevada.
And when you're filtering by manual transmission, how many manuals are there out of the automatics?
Like 2%.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hard to find. It took me 6 months to find this, but that's because it's manual. Tons of automatics out there.
Got it. Why a two-door?
Because, so the current build is kind of like get out on the trail right now as quick as I can. We put it together in like a week or two when we first started the build, just to get on the trail. Long-term plan is to stretch it to about 110, 110-inch wheelbase. I think that's kind of for where we live, Rubicon, Fordyce. We've got some tighter trails. It's nice to have that wheelbase for stability, but be 8 inches shorter than a four-door for being a little more nimble and fitting around tighter trails.
Got it. Seems like our Jeep builds are sort of categorized by tire size.
Yeah.
What are you running here, and sort of what's the next step?
So I'm kind of in a 40-inch wannabe situation. I'm currently running 38s. You would think are not significantly bigger than 37s, but the 38 Nitto does end up quite a bit bigger. It looks bigger, it wheels bigger, the contact patch is bigger. It works really well for the way I've got the axles built. The stock Rubicon axles, trussed, sea-gusted, re-geared, chrome ollie shafts, RCVs, HD ball joints. We did all that here in the shop.
What gear ratio are you running?
488
Yep.
On 38s, but with a supercharger.
Right.
So plenty of power, climbs hills fine, great ratio for crawling off-road, plus we're running a 4-speed Atlas. So we pretty much can make a combo of ratios pretty much anywhere to make it work in any situation.
Okay. And then what wheels are you running at the moment?
KMC beadlocks tanks. The KMC makes great beadlocks. There's a bunch of other companies that make great beadlocks. We've been selling a lot more beadlocks at the shop recently. Customers getting into Rubicon, taking trips up to Moab.
How much maintenance?
Lots, constant.
It's not just bolt on and forget it?
No, you just gotta stay on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, they can be run safely on the street, not legally of course, but safely if you do proper maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Cool. And this thing gets trailer to Moab from here?
Yeah, this does not drive further than around town.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What about suspension?
It's a blend. We've got a small stretch in the rear right now, 2 to 3 inches, long arm front. We're running Falcon shocks, metal cloak coils, a bunch of synergy bits and pieces here and there. It's kind of a hodgepodge. I like to try different parts from different manufacturers, get some RPM steering stuff on there. Yeah, I like to just throw a bunch of different parts from kind of top manufacturers, get to know their parts, give customers better advice.
Give us the short version on why someone would run long arms.
Geometry, both on-road and off-road. So off-road helps increase articulation. On-road, you get a better driving experience with stability because your arm angles are more parallel.
Because you have that back point further back up the Jeep, it's not so steep.
Correct. So you're a little more parallel with the frame rail and with the ground, which gives you less bump steer and a better, more stable platform on the highway.
Cool. So built axles,
Built Rubicon
axles.
Yes.
And then Atlas.
Atlas 4-speed.
Yep.
2.7 planetary, 4.3 primary. Someone else will do the math.
Yep. Got it. And then the ability to run front drive shaft or rear drive shaft, or of course both.
So in low range, an Atlas will run, you can do what's called front digs, but you can only do it in low range. So you can be in two-wheel drive high, two-wheel drive low, low front-wheel drive, and then four-wheel drive anywhere you want.
Yep. Yeah. Got it. Okay. What are you running for protection? What's the package? Skip plate package.
I just have no cloaks, undercloak kit. Works really well. It's bomb-proof.
Steel.
Yeah, beat the crap out of it. It's heavy, but it's not so heavy that the Jeep's too sluggish. The weight is worth the steel.
Yep.
Protection. Yeah.
Okay.
I see a lot of aluminum plates bend and get destroyed.
Yep.
For guys that actually really wheel hard. So steel's where it's at for skid plates.
You mentioned supercharger. Which model are you running, and how much horsepower do you think it has?
I'm running a Sprintex. It's probably a 40% increase in horsepower.
Cool.
They don't publish numbers, but yeah, it's about a 40% increase in power.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about onboard air setup?
AirB, custom setup, stainless steel lines. Yeah, I mean, we can pretty much set up anything for anybody, but we always run ARB compressors.
And then what about comms? Radios?
Rugged radios, GMRS, always carry handheld, built in on the dash.
Yep.
Yeah, works really well.
Lastly, what's next?
Stretch, 110 inches, 40s or 42s.
So that's a frame stretch?
TBD. We can do two different types of stretches. We can either stretch the body and the frame, or we can stretch just the wheelbase and push the axles out past the body. It depends on what level of streetability I'm trying to maintain. Either way, we're going to end up at about 110 to 112, probably with a double triangulated rear, definitely with coilovers, and definitely built 1-ton axles. We'll probably do a 14 bolt and a Dana 60.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll build all that in-house.
Got it. And then comp cut fender?
Either a comp cut or there's a couple of companies that are making stretch corners. So they give you a nice profile that you can bolt onto the side of the body. Keep it semi-clean. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right. We'll check back. We'll check back when we get to that step. Thank you.